Everybody, welcome to Maryland Opera Recitative series, where we have conversations with people who are dear and dear to the Maryland Opera and have been a part of our past and our future as well. I'm delighted to introduce Trever Scheunemann, wonderful baritone from Maryland, who is a Metropolitan Opera artist. And we love him, and I've known Trever for over 10 years, perhaps, right?
I think we first worked together in 1999, if I recall correctly,
A while back.
at the Baltimore Opera, yeah.
So tell me about how you first decided you wanted to be a singer, and then when the opera bug really hit you.
Yeah, my original university major was in classical guitar and in finance, and I took some voice lessons at the college just for musical enrichment or for fun. And the teacher was quite impressed as far as the raw vocal quality that I possessed at that time. I didn't know anything besides, what I learned in high school choir. But we worked together a little bit, and eventually, I think it was 1999. I auditioned for the Baltimore Opera Chorus under the direction of yourself, and you kindly accepted me of my first professional opera contract. I believe it was La Traviata, but I could be wrong.
That was the one actually where I think I went on for the Marquis when he
Yes, that's right.
He was in a car accident on the way to the theater, and I had to put on a costume and
Yeah,
the role of the Marquis.
right.
It's not about me. This is about you.
Yeah, no,
So,
that was fun. I sang the role of La Cena è Pronta in that production, I believe.
See, I thought that was your start. So
Yeah,
that's really how you got your start with the Baltimore Opera Company, right?
that's it. And I actually have some show and tell.
Okay.
My parents, have always been so supportive, and my mother would always frame the programs from my first few productions, and I have actually found the program from that La Traviata that she framed with me as the servant. Isn't that
That was a
sweet?
milestone. I love things like that. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Isn't that fun? I have several of those actually from the Baltimore Opera.
Oh yes, you
Yeah.
were very much a part of what we did there.
Yeah.
Now also remember that we had a special summer opera production of my version of Johnny's Kiki.
That's right.
The Tale of Johnny S. Kiki.
Yeah.
And you are Johnny S. Kiki.
Correct.
You were just amazing. I'll never forget you in your overalls.
Overalls.
Remember
that was the second time I wore overalls for the summer program for one of your shows.
Was there
The Carlisle Floyd piece.
Slow Dusk piece?
Slow Dusk. Exactly.
Yes, that we have many wonderful memories and lots of to come as well. So, Trever, we are so proud of you.
Thank you.
That you have, you got to start with Baltimore, and you're just singing all over the world. But I think you're being a Metropolitan Opera artist. That's a pretty amazing thing. What was it like?
Yeah, that has been nice.
What was it like when you first stepped on stage and you felt, I have arrived and I'm singing at the Metropolitan Opera now?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. I remember it was for Giulio Cesare, and I was singing the role of Curio, the right-hand man to Caesar, to Cesare. And our first stage orchestra, I walked out, and I had not stood on the stage and looked out at the audience prior to that. And the house it seems so tall. I remember being impressed by how high up everything went, just from the floor to ceiling was completely massive, and thinking, how will I ever fill this space with sound? And thank goodness that house is so well so well designed acoustically that as soon as I opened my mouth, I heard my voice back to me, and I immediately was comfortable. And I thought, okay, I can do this. I can fit here.
What a magnificent moment. And sung, didn't you actually, you sung The Count there, right?
I did, yes. I think it was 2017. I went on for 2 performances of Count in Nozze di Figaro. at very, very, very short notice. Um, and the first time was, again, very surreal and kind of out of body experience. But the second time, I was able to enjoy it, which was nice.
That's magnificent. Now, speaking of being at the Metropolitan Opera Company, who are like your baritone ideals that have sung
Oh
on
man,
a
yeah.
stage that you feel like you're in the footprints of?
One would be, and I had the great honor of singing with him before his passing, would be Dmitri Foroskovsky.
Oh gosh,
Um,
voice.
yeah, I sang a small role in Un ballo in maschera, and that was the last time I sang with him. And of course, he was one I had emulated since university, and
So his Airy too is just amazing.
fantastic,
Were you waiting in
incredible.
the wings, or were you in your dressing room listening to it? Because
Both.
I would have left the dressing room and come
Yeah,
backstage
absolutely,
to hear the vibrations for that.
absolutely. His breath control was something I always strived to achieve, and was never able to get there because he is legendary in his line of breath, and just beautiful tone quality. I think on another talking point, you're going to ask about my dream role, and he sings he's one of the pinnacles of the dream role I aspire to, which would be Posa, Rodrigo Posa in Don Carlo, and of course his is one of the best ever.
Such a rich,
So
rich, rich opera.
yeah, yeah,
So, Mr. Scheunemann, one of the things I admire so much about you is that you're maintaining this spectacular career, but you're also a family man. And
sir.
you have a beautiful family.
Thank you so much.
And how hard is it to balance the two? Because I remember for a while, people would say it's either the career or a family. You can't have both, which I
Right.
think is not a good thing. Because I think we need the grounding of family and relationships. So how do you maintain this? Because if you're in New York for a long time for
Hmm.
these roles, how do you maintain contact with your family?
Well, yeah, it is extremely difficult, and I think anything worth doing is often difficult. But I don't believe you have to sacrifice one or the other. However, it is very difficult to balance. And one of the fortunes I've had is to be at the Metropolitan, which is not so terribly far away from my home base. I can hop on the train, and it's a short train ride, or I can drive back and forth. And on the weekends or my days off, I can be at home rather quickly, versus being in Europe or on the West Coast or something where it makes it difficult. So I'm happy that my career the last few seasons has been very heavily in New York, because that helps balance. I think the other important thing to do to be aware of is that when you're home, try to be as present as possible for your family, and there is some advantage to the singing career in that you may have 1 or 2 months off completely free. You may be learning roles at that time, but you're likely to have a summer off, or a gap in your schedule for a month and a half, 2 months, where you can be at home learning roles, and then be really involved with the family life.
That is so marvelous. And I love to see your Facebook posts with your family, and it's just really an inspiration. So you're singing all over the world in all of the United States. And, we've had trouble. Baltimore has been having some issues with opera, with grand opera. And we're still plugging away. We still want to create a presence here.
Sure.
From your vantage point of seeing these big companies and smaller ones around the United States, where do you think Baltimore can fit in that?
Hmm. Yeah, I was terribly sad to see the Baltimore Opera, where I got my start. I would not have. I truly believe that I would not be in this profession if not for Baltimore Opera and yourself, and in your guidance and your invitation into the art form. And that was just a devastating loss. From my perspective, Baltimore has some niche companies, like Baltimore Concert Opera, that are actually doing very well. Wonderful. I know you've played for them, and I think we performed together there. Um, but as far as grand opera, on the big stage, I was thinking about this question, and I feel like it starts, or at least is in large part, dependent on an orchestra, and something where you have the magical blend that opera is supposed to be of orchestra in a pit and singers above them creating the drama together. And I think that's, if that can be accomplished in somehow, I think that magic will draw audience, because there's nothing like human voice in combination supported by a very large strings, brass, winds, carrying those vibrations into the person's chest. That's something that you cannot achieve anywhere else.
It is absolutely the truth. It's the vibrations that, just the enormity of all of that.
Right.
It's just so magnificent. And, you know, we're going to be there. Just stay tuned. So, Mr. Scheunemann, you already told us about your dream role, which is Posa, from Don Carlo, one of the richest operas ever written. And his death scene is just the thing of the world.
Yeah.
So now tell me this, since you already answered that question, what would your dream role be, but not in your Fach?
Ooh. Sadly, it's probably going to be a tenor role. I hate to admit that. Man, maybe Dick Johnson from Fanciulla would be right up there. That's just the dramatic arc and just the music he gets to sing. I mean, I have a hard time arguing with that. Maybe Parsifal also.
Okay, you got me there.
Yeah. One of my favorite experiences when I got started out was singing in the chorus in Washington D.C. at the Washington National Opera, where Domingo sang Parsifal. One of his last performances of that, and that was a very transformative experience for me.
Speaking of the chorus, that last chorus in Parsifal, that will take you to another world.
Absolutely.
The way that he layers the voices there when they raise up the Grail.
Yep.
That is, it's hard for me to pin what my favorite opera is. I'm feeling human a lot. It is Tristan und Isolde. If I'm feeling spiritual, it's Parsifal.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Scheunemann, it's so nice to speak with you. I'm so proud to know you.
Thank
and
you.
We're proud that you're a part of our community. And we certainly continue to wish you all the best. And we'll continue to see the upward trajectory of your career. And I can't wait to be in the audience, or maybe even conducting or stage directing your first Posa. How about that?
That's a deal. Let's make it happen. I would love that.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us for our Maryland Opera Recitative series. Opera now and forever, and I'll see you at the opera. Take care.
Take care.